You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Well, guys, we've got some incredible stories for you today. Of course, we're going to be continuing to update you on the situation with the now deceased billionaire financier, blackmail, child trafficking expert, Jeffrey Epstein. And we've got a new document dump on one of the largest tech companies in the world. We're going to call them Gaggle because I'm hoping to get past the censors this time. Forget everything you think you know about mobile games, because one of the most ambitious RPG projects of 2019 has just been released, and it's going to change everything. You guys, I've got a cool new game I want to tell you about. It's called Raid Shadow Legends. It's an immersive experience, and it's unlike any other you're going to find on your smartphone or your tablet. It's got all the features you'd expect from a brand new RPG title. It's got an amazing storyline, awesome 3D graphics, giant boss fights, PvP battles, and hundreds of champions to choose from. My favorite champion is Kale because of the way he looks. He's got an awesome weapon, and I have been kicking butt with him so far. You can customize, you can level up. It's a lot of fun. So go ahead and download Raid Shadow Legends. It's totally free. It's got almost 200,000 perfect reviews in the Google Play Store, and it's available on both Apple and Android. Go to the description of this video, click on the special link, and you will get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. Also, we have a story coming out about one of CNN's biggest and brightest stars, Mr. Don Lemon. You guys are not going to want to miss this. Also, I think we're going to have a really excellent thread from my friend Führer Rises. Führer Rises. This would be the return of Mind Führer. If you guys have not followed the new Mind Führer account, which would be, again, Führer Rises on Twitter, I highly suggest you guys do so because it is great research each and every time. You guys are also not going to want to miss all of the wonderful programs I have coming up for you in the next several days. We've got my interview with Technofog. We've got my interview with Mark Taylor. We've got my interview with Corey's Diggs. We've also got my interview with Shayna, the prison expert, the insider, who with 15 years of experience in corrections and even dealing with Suicide Watch. So please make sure that you tune in each and every day. I am leaving for California later today, so it was necessary for me to get all of these interviews done ahead of time and uploaded because I will not be able to make regular videos while I'm on the road. But on Monday, I will be in my final destination, and hopefully I'll be doing something maybe a little bit different for you guys. I hope you're going to like it. All right, as promised, huge Gaggle insider releases hundreds of internal documents on Gaggle's deceptive and totalitarian tactics against conservatives. Look at this. Another insider has come forward and spoken with James O'Keefe III and Project Veritas. They are breaking the identity of its latest big tech whistleblower on Wednesday. That would be today. Here is a tweet from James O'Keefe, and he says, tomorrow, that was yesterday, so today, our ML Fairness Gaggle insider comes out of the shadows, and over 1,000 pages of internal documents are released. We will have the documents here for you guys. I will be including a link because it's very important. I want everyone to go through them, and we need to have a collective effort on this one. Now, the Gaggle insider also spoke with investigative journalist, one of my favorites, Sarah Carter, on Gaggle's manipulation of particular words, phrases, and contexts to promote, alter, reference, or manipulate perceptions of internet content. The Gaggle insider already turned over a laptop and several documents to none other than the Department of Justice. He claims the documents he turned over to the DOJ provide proof positive that Gaggle has been manipulating the algorithms and the evidence of how it was done. Wow. Let's take a look at this article from Sarah Carter. She says Gaggle CEO Sundar Pichai told the House Judiciary Committee on December of 2018 that the search engine was not biased against conservatives. Yes. Oh, excuse me. Pkwy explained that algorithms are said Gaggle's algorithm was not offensive to conservatives because its artificial intelligence does not operate in that manner. He told lawmakers things like relevance, freshness, popularity, how other people are using it, are what drives the search results. Pkwy said even if his programmers were anti-Republican, the process is so intricate that the artificial intelligence could not be manipulated, and it was too complicated to train the algorithm to fit their bias. I honestly think that a free market can fix this issue, he told this reporter at a meeting in Washington, D.C. The issue is that the free market has been distorted, and what's happened is that distortion is so grotesque and the engineering is so repulsive, all we need to do is just expose what's going on. People can hear that it is bad, but that can be bias, and when they see what Gaggle has actually written with these documents, this will actually be taught in universities of what totalitarian states can do with this type of capability. Shocking, shocking, but we knew this all along, guys. It will be so revolting that it doesn't matter what the solution is. A solution will just form as a reaction to this manipulation they have done, the insider said. Now, PV will release the documents later today, and as I said, they already have. It is a known fact for those who seek to be informed that Gaggle discriminates against conservatives. If you search Gaggle for prominent conservative voices, including Mike Cernovich, Joe DeGeneva, Jack Posobiec, or Gateway Pundit, you will see hit pieces and biased attacks. The Gateway Pundit is one of the largest, most accurate, and most influential publishers in the country today. In the last month, if you search Gaggle for Gateway Pundit, the first term that it pulls up is a PDF of Jim Hoft's speech to Congress. The line item says Gateway Pundit, Congressman Steve King. It is a PDF. We have written hundreds of stories that change the media narrative in the U.S., and this PDF is the first item that pops up. Most likely, it's because some Gaggle jackass wanted to link us to Republican Steve King, who the left has smeared as a racist. You have to go to the fifth item before you can even link to our website. Just incredible. Gaggle does its best to hide conservative content and smear conservative publishers. It's time the federal government holds these vile, tyrannical leftists accountable. I'm going to have to agree 100% with this story. I think you guys, all of us here, we all know the lengths that this company is going to go to in order to squash conservative voices and to bury conservative content. Just incredible when you look at how far we've come in just the last couple of years. You know, things were bad several years ago, but now it's a world away, and we are living in a dystopian future that I think all of us was afraid was coming, but perhaps we were hoping was never going to arrive. But here we are. We are living in an era where tech companies mold our thoughts and our opinions. We are living in an era where tech companies control the narrative, where tech companies steer millions of votes for the candidates that they personally want to win. If you look back at the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton won by about 3 million votes, and I'm talking about the popular vote because I know that Donald Trump won the Electoral College, which is what really matters. But the popular vote was won by Hillary Clinton, and that was due to places like California, New York City, all of the areas where you've got a lot of illegals and you've got a lot of leftists, and in many areas where people use this particular search engine in order to get their news, and they're not savvy enough to realize what's going on, they just think that the information they're being presented is unbiased. I remember when this was an unbiased search engine. The name of this company became an adjective to search on the internet. No more. I haven't used this company in many years, and most of my friends haven't used this company in many years. If any of you are using this particular search engine, then you are probably being steered into misinformation. This company has taken it upon themselves to single-handedly destroy the conservative movement in this country because we represent a threat to their monopolization of information, a threat to their monopolization of intelligence, and a threat to their monopolization of the market. We need to take action. President Trump must take action. On the same note, I was looking at a tweet from Terrence K. Williams, and he said that his page on Facebook has been flagged as fake news. The man's a comedian. He's a satirist, okay? He makes fun of things that people are too serious about. He's a Trump supporter. He is a conservative, and therefore he has been branded as fake news. How can these people continue to get away with this? This is clearly something that must be addressed in the very near future, because the closer we get to 2020, the more dire the circumstances become. Well, as promised, here we have that Gaggle document dump. Below is an index of internal documents that PV received from that Gaggle insider. Each folder can be downloaded by clicking on the links in the table. PV has not renamed any of the files, but did arrange the documents into the downloadable folders below. So we've got a section here for censorship, fake news, leadership training, partisanship, everything.zip, miscellaneous and video, psychological research, machine learning, fairness, hiring practices, and politics. And I think I want to take a look at psychological research. Well, here we are. We are downloading the documents directly from the PV server. Had to install an application in order to do that, so I just want to make sure everyone is aware that they are going to ask you to do that. This app is completely safe, so don't worry about it. You're not going to get a virus. Let's see. Transfer completed. Open up. Well, here we have something called the Engineering Newsletter. And it says, the data on diversity, it's not just about being fair. We're technical people and we like data. And now imaginative researchers have developed ways to gather quantitative data about the benefits of, as well as the challenges to, having a diverse workforce. Well, this is all going to be very, very dry, guys. So I'm not going to go through all this right now, but I just wanted to show you the process of getting these documents downloaded for yourself. Definitely checking it out, and obviously these are hundreds, over 1,000 pages of information that we can see how these people think and the kinds of things that they're doing in order to sway elections. This is a very, very important topic, and the president and everyone in his administration needs to consider this as probably being one of the most high-profile issues facing our success in 2020 and the future of our country going forward. All right, next. Apparently, the prison guards at the MCC are suspected of falsifying their log entries. They were faking it to make it look like they were really checking on this guy, Jeffrey, every 30 minutes. A person familiar with the investigation into Jeffrey's death told the Associated Press that the prison guards falsified log entries to make it look like they were checking on inmates in Jeffrey's cell every 30 minutes when they actually weren't. Now, from the Associated Press, a person familiar with the probe of Jeffrey's death at a federal jail says guards are suspected of falsifying log entries to show they were checking on inmates in this unit every half hour when they actually weren't. Surveillance video reviewed after the death showed guards never made some of the checks noted in the log, according to the person familiar with the investigation. The person wasn't authorized to disclose information and spoke to the AP Tuesday on condition of anonymity. Earlier Tuesday, the Bureau of Prisons temporarily reassigned the warden of New York's Metropolitan Correctional Center and placed 2 staff members assigned to Jeffrey's unit on administrative leave. The warden's reassignment comes at the order of U.S. Attorney General William Barr. CBS News, citing an unnamed source, also reported on Tuesday that shrieking and shouting was heard coming from Jeffrey's cell on the morning of his death. Sure, doesn't sound like he did this to himself if he was going to be shrieking and shouting. The source also said they heard corrections officers saying, "Breathe, Epstein, breathe," while trying to revive him. The cellmate of Jeffrey was also transferred out of their shared cell on the eve of the high-profile prisoner's death, leaving him alone and unmonitored. This right here, you are not supposed to be alone in your cell. Now, that was told to me by a number of COs, people in prisons who have worked there. Now, we know all the rest about this, so I wanted to go over this email that I received from CO Anon. Let's see. So they said that I was very disappointed to hear that J.E. had died after being released from Suicide Watch. And here's some insight from my experience. When working special housing unit and receiving an inmate from Suicide Watch, they are required to be placed with a cellmate. I don't know how he was allowed to be alone in this first place. Unfortunately, due to regulations, the Bureau does not have cameras that point into inmate cells in the segregation block. There are cameras located at the end of each range pointing in both directions, and non-correctional staff working as correctional officers is actually common practice. We have a shortage of qualified correctional officers across the Bureau, so non-custodial staff does help fill the void. We all receive annual training, and we all have to pass the training academy, meeting the same standards no matter what job you hold in the institution. I have worked in SHUs that are the envy of the Bureau, and I've worked in SHUs that resemble the tragedy that is the MCC. And then he just goes on to say that I watched your video tonight and I thought I'd reach out to you. So I am going to be in contact with this prison insider. I've got another prison insider, that's Shayna. We'll be releasing that interview on Sunday. And hopefully between the two of them, we maybe, we'll be able to get some insight into how this potentially could have happened. But so far, it sounds like both of them are at a loss to understand exactly how this could have happened. The only way that I can see it is that the people involved in this situation were entirely corruptible, because you put a couple $1 million in someone's face, even you put a couple thousand or maybe a little bit more than that into somebody's face who doesn't make all that much money, and I think that they're probably going to be willing to do a lot more than maybe you or I feel like. My viewers are incorruptible. We are not going to find ourselves in a position where we can be bribed or we can be bought. This is about truth, justice, and righteousness. So thank you guys for being here. I'm still at a loss because of what happened. We're just going to have to keep an eye on this one, as always. Look at that face. Oh, maybe it's time for some good news, guys. This is tongue-in-cheek with that. But CNN's Don Lemon has been sued for allegedly vigorously rubbing his genitals, then sticking his fingers in a man's face. You heard that right. Yeah, there's no mistaking that. CNN's Don Lemon is being sued for allegedly putting his hand down his shorts, vigorously rubbing his genitalia, and shoving his index and middle fingers into a man's mustache at a bar. The incident allegedly took place at a Sag Harbor bar called Murph's last summer. Dustin Heiss, the man suing Lemon, claims that prior to the incident he had offered to buy Lemon a drink and he declined. Mediaite reports that later in the night, according to Heiss, Lemon approached him and his group of friends, and after putting his hand down his shorts, he vigorously rubbed his genitalia and shoved his index and middle fingers into Heiss's mustache. And they repeat the claim over and over and over again. Now, this forced the plaintiff's head to thrust backward as the defendant repeatedly asked plaintiff, "Oh my goodness, this is do you like the P or the D?" While saying this, Mr. Lemon continued to shove his fingers into the plaintiff's face with aggression and hostility. The suit says that Heiss was left with feelings of shame, humiliation, anxiety, anger, and guilt following the incident. God, what a horrible incident to be involved in. CNN is standing by Lemon, however, claiming that Heiss had posted anti-CNN sentiments on his social media accounts. The plaintiff in this lawsuit has previously displayed a pattern of contempt for CNN on his social media accounts, a CNN spokesperson told Mediaite in a statement. This claim follows his unsuccessful threats and demands for an exorbitant amount of money from Don Lemon. Don categorically denies these claims, and this matter does not merit any further comment at this time. The lawsuit comes just one day after CNN's Chris Cuomo was caught on camera aggressively threatening to shove a man down a flight of stairs over being called Fredo, the dumb brother from The Godfather, which insulted him. Oh my goodness, these anchors at these liberal media outlets, they are some real gems, let me tell you. I'd be really interested to know if there were security cameras in that bar, and I would be interested to know if, people in the media are going to stand behind Don Lemon and this disgusting and appalling behavior. I'm very, 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 very excited to see how this turns out, because no one deserves to get Me Too'd more than Don Lemon. All right, that tweet thread from my good friend and fellow researcher Furor Rises. Now, this is about Jeffrey and Ghislaine, their connections, and we've got new crumbs, new booms, new thread. Boom, here we go. Here we have Ghislaine and Jeffrey, and here we have Ghislaine and some ladies. And I don't know who these people are, but I'm assuming this is that new connection. So let's go ahead and take a read. Naturally, with Jeffrey's untimely demise, focus now turns to associates, friends, and business partners. None more so than Miss Ghislaine Maxwell, former girlfriend, elite socialite, and known procurer. Here we have an article, looks like. And there is Ghislaine and some of her associates, Catherine Keating, the president of Iceland, Olafur Ragnar Grimson, Dorrit Musif, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Sharon Musif. Interesting. Now, this article touches on Jeffrey and Maxwell's link to Ariadne Calvo Platero, her husband Mario, and to London-based think tank International Institute for Strategic Studies, a notable find given the rumored Mossad connections of Maxwell. Let's go deeper. Honorable Ariadne Calvo Platero is the daughter of Timothy Wentworth Beaumont, Baron Beaumont of Whitley. She is married to Mario Calvo Platero, former editor of the prestigious Italian newspaper Il Sole 24, as well as a former British energy executive for several companies. Here we have some docs, and here they are at a party in the Hamptons. How vogue. Hat tip to Ciao Baudo for laying out some extra Calvo Platero background connections, including Epstein. The linked thread is an absolute goldmine of breadcrumbs. Well done. And apparently this is Ghislaine's best friend. And there's her, that's actual docs right there. Family Central, she's a licensed clinical social worker. Just want to say for the record that any claims made in this thread are alleged, certainly not saying that this individual is involved in trafficking or anything like that, just that it's, the responsible thing to take a look. Okay. Now, the linked article here says Calvo Platero and Maxwell were best friends since Oxford. Calvo Platero is a Blue Ribbon board member and is listed in the original incorporation documents of the Terramar Project, Maxwell's charitable organization, the organization that she folded recently. Speaking of Terramar, its mailing address is in a building on Manhattan's East Side owned by none other than Lynn Forrester de Rothschild. Look at that. Ariadne Calvo Platero, pictured here with the likes of Christiane Amanpour, Carol Radziwill, Michael Wolff, Piers Morgan, and of course, Ghislaine Maxwell. They are all journalists, authors, and television personalities. I'm throwing in a Rockefeller, too. Okay. There we are. Christiane Amanpour. Michael Wolff wrote that terrible book about the president where he told a bunch of lies. There we are. Piers Morgan, look at that. Hobnobbing with Ghislaine. Piers, what have you been up to, buddy? Renee Rockefeller, okay. Now, here is Ariadne with fashion designer Nicole Miller and internet entrepreneur Tatiana Platt. Let's take a look here. She's looking kind of manly right there. Cops probe rape at Soho penthouse of power couple Campion and Tatiana Platt. Wow. That's the kind of stuff they're into. Ariadne is a licensed family social worker with an organization called the Ackerman Institute for the Family, whose donors include the NBA, Ernst & Young, Open Society, and the Andrea Charles Bronfman Fund. Ariadne is a board vice president and trustee of the Train Foundation. Founder and chairman John Train works with the United Nations through Seton Hall, is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, and also the International Institute of Strategic Studies. Very interesting. Enter one Vicky Ward, British-born New York Times bestselling author, investigative journalist, columnist, and television commentator. She was editor-at-large for several publications and a former newspaper editor. Caps are her best sellers. Let's go ahead and take a look. There's Vicky. The Devil's Casino. The Liar's Ball. Ooh, a bit of Eyes Wide Shut right there. And Kushner Incorporated. She's got an agenda. In addition to Morgan Stanley, Hewlett-Packard, Valerie Plame, the Kushners, Kate Middleton, the Guggenheim, the Getty, and the Fairfield Greenwich Hedge Fund, she has also written extensively about Jeffrey Epstein, going as far back as 2002 with her expose in Vanity Fair. Journo who profiled Epstein calls out Dershowitz for claiming in an interview he wasn't close to Epstein. Investigative journalist explains why Jeffrey might have needed a fake passport. You will have Jeffrey Epstein to kick around. I was silenced. Vicky Ward's thread on Vanity Fair editing her piece exposing Jeffrey Epstein clear back in 2002 is unreal. Here are links to more of her Epstein material through the years to get a feel for her work. On July 18th of this year, The Guardian published a podcast on the Jeffrey scandal hosted by Vicky Ward and a man named Ed Pilkington. All right, Guardian, thank you. Here's the problem, and it's a big one. Here are photos of Vicky in both 2009 and 2010 hobnobbing with Ariadne Calvo Platero, and a 2011 cap from Vicky's blog detailing how very close Ghislaine and Ariadne are. Could she be controlled opposition? And as an added bonus, here is Ariadne and Ed Pilkington from the same Guardian podcast on Epstein in 2018. There we go. There is Inigo, Ariadne, Ed right there, and Peter Godwin. Socialites. How can one simultaneously be one of the loudest Jeffrey Epstein voices in the media and also be personally connected to Ghislaine Maxwell's lifelong bestie from Oxford? Is Vicky Ward an Epstein gatekeeper? Is she controlled? I knew it. Here are photos of Ariadne Calvo-Platero with Ghislaine Maxwell, Andre Balas of the Standard Hotel chain, and yet another Calvo-Platero encounter with journalist and author Vicky Ward, this time its husband Mario in 2013. There we are. There's Andre. What happened at the Standard Hotel? And there is Mario Calvo-Platero. Close association for someone looking to expose someone. This photo speaks for itself. Mario and Andre seem pretty tight. Ooh, gross. Come on, guys. Get a room. A quote to sum everything up from 2011. Despite her seedy adventures with Jeffrey Epstein, most of Ghislaine's friends are very loyal. Notably, her best friend from Oxford, Ariadne Calvo-Platero, daughter of the peer Lord Beaumont. And another Peggy Siegel, another Epstein insider right there. Yet another Ariadne and Peggy. Look at that. Now, here's the thing, guys. These people all run in the same circles. She could be running defense. Peggy Siegel and the boys, Peggy Siegel with the girls, Peggy with Russell Simmons, and I'm pretty sure that's Steve Mnuchin at Peggy's birthday party. Look at that. George Clooney and Steve Croft and Harvey Weinstein. Oh, and then there's all the girls. Oh, she's got a very odd look about her. Russell Simmons. Deaf trafficking jam, and then Steve Mnuchin. There is Mr. Steve Mnuchin right there. Where are his characteristic sunglasses? He looks better with sunglasses on. Tennis girls, Perry Peltz, Peggy Siegel, Tory Burch, Christina Cuomo, Fredo's wife. Ooh, maybe that's why he's getting so upset. He's close to this. Let's see. They're all part of an exclusive club of New York socialites. Here is Ariadne with Saz Borghese, wife of Livia Borghese, who is the son of Princess Marcello Borghese and Duke of Bamarazzo, Paolo Borghese. Yes, those Borgheses. I don't know them personally, but I'm assuming that they are an important family. Let's see. Oh, husbands of Napoleon's sister. Okay, so yeah, they've got some power, they've got some money. The princess who was born Marcella Fozzi married into the Roman noble family in 1937 with her wedding to Prince Paolo Borghese, the Duke of Bamarzo. The prince who died in 1985 was a descendant of the Borghese family that produced one pope, Paul V, as well as Rome's most famous public park and one of its loveliest art galleries, the Galleria Borghese. Her son, Livia Borghese, speaking in a telephone interview from New York, said she never really left the company. He added that his mother had died peacefully. Borghese is survived by 3 children. Okay. And that is it. Many interesting connections. He's right. How can you be running interference if you are so closely connected with the person who ran his organization? I'm going to take a guess here, and I'm going to say that Vicky Ward is controlled opposition. Thank you, Führer Rises. All right. And next we have a tweet from my good friend Methods. He says, reminder, Sessions started this. Anticipated to be released after Congress returns from August recess, the Justice Department Inspector General said when he launched the investigation last year at the behest of then Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article from the Washington Examiner. All right, so who and what the Horowitz report is likely to cover. The 448-page report detailing Special Counsel Robert Mueller's 2-year Trump-Russia investigation is public. Well, next up, Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz's report into how that investigation started. We're sitting on pins and needles, guys. That report, anticipated to be released after Congress returns from August recess, will come amid an ongoing contentious debate between Republicans who think the government unfairly targeted President Trump and Democrats who believe Trump deserved to be investigated for his alleged ties to Russia. But what Horowitz's report which is expected to delve into alleged abuse of the FISA Act and the FBI's use of the salacious and unverified dossier compiled by British ex-spy Christopher Steele, has been held close. Still, recent developments have offered a sneak preview of the cast of characters who could make appearances when Horowitz explains what his team uncovered. Former FBI Director James Comey received good news a couple of weeks ago when the DOJ decided not to charge him over leaking his memos, despite a criminal referral from Horowitz, who concluded Comey leaked classified information and showed a lack of candor, that is fancy language for lying. But the leak inquiry was just a narrow slice of the broader investigation Horowitz launched in March of last year. Now, Horowitz is likely scrutinizing every aspect of the FISA approval process, and the head of the FBI plays an integral role. Comey signed 3 of the 4 FISA warrant applications and renewals targeting former Trump campaign associate Carter Page, who was never charged with wrongdoing during the Trump-Russia investigation. Comey defended the FBI's use of the Steele dossier, but admitted the dossier wasn't verified when he approved its use, and investigators were still working to verify its contents when he was fired in May of 2017. The final FISA renewal happened a month later. The FISA filings required approval from top members of the FBI and the Justice Department, so other possible targets of Horowitz's inquiry likely included the approvers of the 4 applications and renewals. That would be Comey, Deputy AG Sally Yates, Dana Bonte, and the only signatory in active government service and currently Trump's top lawyer at the FBI, then FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, and then Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who appointed Mueller to be special counsel the month before. Now, Mueller told Congress he wasn't involved in approving that final FISA warrant. The 412 pages of redacted FISA documents released in 2018 show the Justice Department and the FBI made extensive use of Steele's dossier, which he put together in 2016 at the behest of the opposition research firm Fusion GPS. The Clinton campaign hired the firm through Mark Elias of the Perkins Coie law firm and was briefed about Steele's findings throughout the race. Also last week, McCabe and the former FBI special agent Peter Strzok, both fired during the Trump administration, separately used the Justice Department, alleging political bias played a role in their removals. Strzok demanded reinstatement and back pay, and McCabe demanded he receive his full retirement pension. Horowitz has a history with both men. He previously concluded anti-Trump texts sent from Strzok to FBI lover and lawyer Lisa Page, his mistress, not only showed Strzok was biased, but also that he was willing to take official action to affect Trump's electoral prospects. Horowitz also concluded McCabe leaked information without authorization and lacked candor with investigators. Horowitz's findings were cited in both their firings, and he's likely not done with them since they both played prominent roles in the Trump-Russia investigation. And last Thursday, FBI interview notes with top DOJ official Bruce Orr shed light on his role as a conduit between Steele and the FBI in 2016 and 2017, after the Bureau says it cut Steele off as a source for leaking to the media. Orr told the FBI that Steele was desperate Trump not win and suggested some of Steele's information may have stemmed from Russian conspiracy theories. Bruce Orr's wife, Nellie, worked at Fusion GPS and the Clowns in America, and Bruce Orr passed her research along to the FBI. Horowitz is also likely looking into the FBI's use of an article by Michael Isikoff to bolster its FISA filings. The FBI told the court it didn't think the piece was connected to the dossier, even though Isikoff only wrote it after a meeting with Steele. Incredible. The Justice Department Inspector General said when he launched the investigation last year at the behest of then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, he would examine the Justice Department and the FBI's compliance with legal requirements related to FISA filings against Page and review the DOJ and the FBI's dealings with Steele. But while Horowitz said he would consider including other issues that arose during the investigation, Attorney General William Barr has since suggested the inquiry is narrow. Former FBI General Counsel James Baker is also likely to be among those scrutinized, since he admitted he inserted himself into the FISA approval process and reviewed the first FISA application. Baker defended how the FBI handled the Steele dossier, claiming, "We took it seriously, but we didn't necessarily take it literally." Republicans have argued the dossier's Democratic benefactors and its authors' anti-Trump bias were left out of the FISA applications. Democrats countered that the FBI acted appropriately, saying the Justice Department and the FBI met the rigor, transparency, and evidentiary bias for probable cause. Officials such as Deputy Assistant Secretary of State Kathleen Kvelic knew by October 2016 portions of Steele's dossier were inaccurate, and State Department officials such as Jonathan Weiner and Victoria Nuland seem to have been involved in spreading Steele's information within the U.S. government. Many members of the media also received info from the Steele dossier, which may have contained Russian disinformation at the behest of Fusion GPS founder Glenn Simpson. The Steele dossier's central thesis was a well-developed conspiracy of cooperation between the Trump campaign and Russia, but Mueller didn't agree. Although Mueller concluded the Russians interfered in the 2016 presidential election, the investigation did not establish the Kremlin and Trump's campaign criminally conspired. Mueller's report also shot down at least one of Steele's biggest claim, that Trump lawyer Michael Cohen met with foreign hackers in Prague. Horowitz reportedly homed in on Steele, and the team reportedly interviewed the ex-spy in June. Meanwhile, Barr, along with U.S. Attorney John Durham, launched his own inquiry into the origins of the Trump-Russia investigation after Trump gave him broad declassification authority to look into it. Guys, this is a house of cards, and it is falling down. This right here is a complete and total point-by-point reason why these people did everything wrong, everything incorrect that they did, all of the things that they need to answer for, all of the things that will be punished once this final report comes out from Horowitz. And never, never forget about U.S. Attorney John Durham, the bulldog John Durham. He is not the guy to mess with. He is the one who's going to be bringing these formal charges. I guarantee it. Mark my words on it. All right, guys. Well, I think that's all that I have for you today. I want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.